Hola. So how do we convert from miles to feet, feet to inches, inches to yards, and so forth? We'll also look at quarts and pints and cups and time and everything. So for length, let's look at the length. 1 mile is 5,280 feet. 1 yard equals how many feet? How many feet in a yard? 3 feet, yep. 1 foot, how many inches? 12 inches, yes. So these are the units you and I are familiar with. That's for length. For weight, £1 is how many ounces? 16 ounces, yes. 1 ton is 2,000 pounds. When they're weighing cars, they go, this car weighs 4 tons, 2 tons, 3 tons. Airplanes, the same thing. They go, a C5, when it's fully loaded there, is 750,000 tons. 750,000 blocks of each one, 2,000 pounds. That's how heavy that plane is. For capacity, if you're a cook there, we know 1 gallon is equal to 4 quarts. QT, that's QT, a quart. 1 quart is equal to 2 pint. 1 pint equals 2 cups. They use C for cups, they don't use CU. I was about to write cups, then I'll just stick with the units. Our book uses C for cups. And 1 cup is how many ounces? That's 8 ounces. Then we also have units for time. We know 1 year has how many days in it? Is it 365 days? One year has how many months? 12 months. 1 year has how many weeks? Is it 52 weeks? 1 week has how many days? 7 days. 1 hour has how many minutes? 60 minutes. And 1 minute has how many seconds? 60 seconds. So these are the units that we use in the US here. And the question, how do we change units? How do we go from one to another? The good news, you don't have to memorize these. We took all of these and we put them on that sheet right here. I just gave you. See them? There's the length, there's the weight, there's the capacity, and I didn't do the time. Did I do the time? No. Because the time, some of the stuff is obvious. We figure we know it. So if I draw a line here, if I put a line straight across here, these are the units I need for today. What about the other units? That's for the metric system. That's the next section in the book. We'll get to that next class. So how do we go from, for example, changing units from feet to inches? Now, some of the stuff is obvious, you can look at it, but if you understand the method, you can use that for chemistry, you can use that for physics, for any class. It doesn't matter what units we're using. So this is what I do with them. just a quick example, if I have 12 feet and I want to convert that to yards. Here's how I do them. I make that a fraction. 12 feet, I make it over 1. And I'm always going to multiply. There is no division with my method. It's always multiplications. Now, here's the problem. Where are you going to go? You want to go from feet to yard. Notice here you have feet where? On the top. So I want feet on the bottom, yard on the top. Why do you think I want feet on the bottom and yard on the top? Why feet on the bottom, not the top? What was the reason? So you can cancel them out, right? And if you notice top and bottom, you cancel the feet, and the only units you have left is what? Just yards. Now I go to my sheet here, and I look at the relationship between yard and feet, right here, the second one. Can you see it? Now what is the number next to feet? 3. And what's the number next to yard? 1. This cancels that. So now I'll have 12 times 1. I'm multiplying fractions. The top times the top. 12. The bottom times the bottom, 3. What is 12 divided by 3? 4 yards. And you're going to see me use this method for anything I do today. Five quarts, I want to change that to pints. Again, I'll make it a fraction. 5 quarts over 1. Since quarts on the top, I want quarts on the bottom. Pints on the top. So the quarts will cancel the quarts. Let's see. Quarts and pints. Do you see anything for quarts and pints? 4 quarts, no. 1 quart equals how many pints? 2. 1 quart equals what? 2 pints. 5 times 2, which is what? 10. 1 times 1 is 1. That's 10 pints. Let me try another one. Let's try 120 minutes. And I want to convert that to hours. 120 minutes over 1. I'm going to multiply. I want minutes on the bottom, hours on the top. So the minutes will cancel. 1 hour has how many minutes? 60. 120 times 1 is 120 divided by 60, which is what? 2 hours. Let's try another one. Excuse me. Thank you. Thank you. Let's try another one. 5 feet, 2 yards. Again, that's 5 feet over 1. Feet on the top, that means I want feet on the bottom. Yards on the top. 1 yard has how many feet? 3. 5 times 1 is 5 over 3. And if you divide them, That's what, 1 2/3, is it? You know I go to the gym in the morning, so I can tell you this morning, I try to burn some of the calories from Thanksgiving. I walked on the treadmill for 15,840 feet. Sounds impressive. Well, how many yards that is, or how many miles that is? Because that looks like a huge number. Would you walk from Boston to New York? Not really.
3 miles.
Yep. 15840 feet. That's over 1. That's right, Jamie. I'm going to put feet on the bottom, miles on the top. 1 mile is equal to 5,280 feet. Which is 3 miles. So it's not a big deal. It sounds like a lot, but when you convert that to miles, oh, that's only 3 miles, that's it? Sometimes actually the problem is a little bit tricky. You'll have convert something like this. 2 pounds, 15 ounces, 2 ounces. So this is pounds and ounces. So how do we convert that one? Well, let's take the pounds. Here we go. 2 pounds over 1, and I want to convert that to ounces. So I want pounds on the bottom, ounces on the top. Earlier today we said 1 pound has how many ounces? 16 ounces. That's 32 ounces. That's for the 2 pounds. So now what do you want to do? You need to add to that the other 15 additional ounces that you have there. It's 2 pounds and 15 ounces. So when you add them, what do we have? 37 ounces. Let's say you were doing your work there at home.
You mean 47 ounces? 3 plus 1.
Yes, 47, thank you. Oh, there we go, Angelica. 1 and 3 is 4, not a 3, unless it's a new math. Let's say you had a turkey a couple of days ago. You were cooking that for Thanksgiving, and the recipe calls for you got to cook this turkey breast. It's a small turkey breast for 270 minutes. Let's make it actually more than that. Let's make it so it's not an even number. 276 minutes. That's what the recipe called for. And you go 276. What is that? I want to change that. I'll go this. Convert 276 minutes to hours and minutes. Hmm. 4 hours and change. Let's see. Jamie says 4 hours and change. Well, 4 hours has how many minutes? That's 4 hours over 1 times hours on the bottom, minutes on the top. 1 hour is 60 minutes. 240 minutes. So if you take 276 now and subtract from it 240, what's the remainder? 6, 4 from 7, which is what? 3. So that's 4 hours and 36 minutes. I will have to cook that turkey breast or the turkey for 4 hours and 36 minutes. Okay. Let's take a shopping again. You went to the store and you bought the 2 packages of meat. One says 3 pounds on it, 10 ounces, and the other one says 4 pounds and 14 ounces. And you want to add them. You said, is that enough for my dinner for tonight? Because you're looking for somewhere on like, I don't know, 9 pounds. You're saying, do I have 9 pounds close enough to that? So how do you add them? Well, we add the pounds to the pounds. What's 3 and 4? That's 7 pounds. And how many ounces here? 24 ounces. But wait a minute. 24 ounces. I can convert that to what? Pounds? 1 pound is how many ounces? 16. So if I subtract 16 from this, that's 1 pound. What do we have left? 6 from 4? Can't. 6 from 14 is what? 8. And add 1 to this, that's 8 pounds and 8 ounces. So that's 8.5 pounds. That's what you have. So if the recipe calls for 9 pounds of meat, you're not that far from it. Those 2 packages will do it. You can do the same thing with length. If you're measuring 2 pieces of wood, one is 7 feet, 9 inches, and the other one is 2 feet, 5 inches. And you want to know how long, if you put them together end to end, how long that is. 5 and 9 is what? 14 inches. 7 and 2, that's 9 feet. We know that's more than what? That's more than 12, right? A foot is 12, so we subtract 12 inches from this. What's left? 2 inches, and we add 1 to this. That'll make it what? 10 feet, 2 inches. I'll just practice a few more examples now, and I'm done with this. I have 48 months, and I want to know how many years that is. So we go 48 months over 1. Months on the bottom to cancel the month on the top, and years here. 1 year is how many months? 12. That's 4 years. Hmm. 2 miles. How many yards? I didn't give you one for miles and yard, did I? Do I have miles and yard here? No, that's okay. I can convert miles to feet, then feet to yard. I can do it in 2 steps. So just like you want to take a bus from New York City, for example, from Boston to Philadelphia. There's no direct bus that goes from Boston to Philadelphia, but there's one that goes from Boston to New York, and there's one that goes from New York to where? To Philadelphia. You can do it that way. Well, that's the same thing. I can go from miles to feet first. One mile is how many feet? 5,280 feet. So my answer is going to be what? 10,560 feet. Now convert that to yards. Because you want to go to yards. You don't want it to be in feet. So now we go 10,560 feet over 1 times. I want feet on the bottom, yards on the top. 1 yard is what? 3 feet? That's 10,560 divided by 3. What is it? 3,520 yards, according to Jamie. .32 ounces, and I want to convert that to pint. Again, pint and ounces. Where's my capacity? Where is it? I don't have pint to ounces. You see that? I have cups to ounces and pint to cups. So I can go from pint to cups first, then from cups to ounces. So 32 ounces, that's over 1. Ounces on the bottom, cups on the top. 1 cup is how many ounces? 8. That's 32 times 1, 32 divided by 8, which is what? 4 cups. Now let's convert this to pints. 4 cups over 1. Cups on the bottom, pints on the top. 1 pint is how many cups? 2. 4 times 1 is 4 divided by 2, which is 2 pints. We'll do some fractions to wrap it up with. 1 1/2 quart is equal how many gallons? Here's my unit. 1 gallons, how many quarts? 4. So 1 1/2 quarts over 1. Quarts on the bottom, gallons on the top. 1 gallons, how many quarts? 4. One and a half times 1, it's 1 1/2 divided by 4. Now let's have fun with the math. What does that mean? It means 1 1/2 divided by 4. So change them to improper fraction. 2 times 1 is 2 and 1 3. That's 3 over 2 divided by 4 over 1. Yep, when you have divisions, KFC. Keep, change, so that'll be what? 3 over 2 times 1 over 4. 3 times 1, 3, 2 times 4, 8, 3/8 gallon. And that's the first section. The second section we'll hit next time, and that's converting metric system, which is most of you are not familiar with unless you grew up outside the U.S. If you grew up outside the U.S., that's all they use, the metric system. If you've been to Canada, Europe, everyone used the metric system. Middle East, India, Asia, everyone used the metric system. Why? Because everything is a multiple of 10. Notice here, everything is not a multiple of 10. Meaning what? 1 mile is not a 10 or 100 or 1,000. It's some crazy number, 5,280 feet. 1 yard is 3 feet, not 10. 1 foot is 12, not 10 or 100. The metric, everything is a multiple of 10, which makes the math easier. So we'll stop with this one. That's this section.